diet part, and you've touched on this, the under eating when, oh, I mean, because the typical woman coming to you is under eating, and she needs to get her metabolism back up while you're teaching her how to work out in the gym and do the strength training and the HIIT training. Where do you start with them with their diet?
So I usually, and this is not for everyone. I mean, each female is unique, and so each situation is unique. But I like to bring somebody out and say, okay, let's actually start seeing and tracking what you're eating, not for the intent of going down this rabbit hole. And if somebody had disordered eating, this is not the approach that I would take. But a lot of women aren't even aware what they're eating until they start tracking a little bit and putting it in to a tracking device where they're like, one of two things: either I am severely under eating or I'm not hitting protein like you know, anywhere near what I should be, especially if I'm trying to diet. Or you have the flip side of, holy cow, there were 900 calories in my smoothie, and I would have guessed there were maybe 400. And so you have both of those kind of situations that play into it. But if we look at the under eating female and over exercising, it's tricky, because I would not just say, okay, let's take your calories. If you're weight stable on 1200, I'm not going to bring you down to 900 to get the scale to move, or to get your body compositions to change, or your measurements, or whatever the mode may be that we're checking. So it is important to, and nobody wants to hear that, because they'll come and they're like, but I'm hiring you to get me to lose weight, and you're telling me now that I have to stay at maintenance. But sometimes that's the right approach to get someone really looking at their diet a little bit differently, and trying to not trying to really fuel for the demands of their training session, and looking at it like that, instead of just, I can barely eat, or I'm eating only for pleasure. And not that that doesn't have a place in our food daily, but to really think about, how am I fueling so that my body can do what it needs to do. And if I'm under fueling, then there's chances that I'm not able to really push hard in the gym. And if I'm not able to push really hard in the gym, then I'm not going to build the lean muscle mass that is desperately needing when we want. And most women, again, even if they do want to lose weight, or they do want to lose fat, they don't want to just be a smaller version of themselves. So if they lost 30 pounds, but they didn't build any muscle, and they didn't really protect their muscle, they're just a smaller version of themselves. Where most women are like, I want to lose weight, but I want to have more shape, a little bit more muscle on my frame, so I look better in my skin. I mean, that's usually what women are coming to me for. They want the fat loss, but they also want how the body looks with a little bit of muscle on. So we have to get them out of that cycle and get them to a healthy space. But the building the muscle, I mean, that's the hardest thing, because again, women hear it, but they're like, oh, I don't want to put on a lot of lean mass and look big, or I just want to lose weight. But then, no, you don't. If we break it down to them, then they're like, okay, yes, this is, or if they show you a picture, okay, this person has put in some time in the gym, and it's the muscle on their frame that is not only beneficial for our independence and the 9 million reasons that muscle on your frame are important to have, but also it's going to give you the shape and the look that you're potentially looking for.
Yeah,
At this stage.
it's very difficult to get bulky as a woman, especially in perimenopause, menopause, and menopause, where our testosterone has gone down,
Yeah.
and we need that. Unless you're pumping yourself up with testosterone or steroids, you're not going to get bulky. And
Yeah.
there's that myth around lower, heavier reps is going to make you bulky, and let's do 20 to 30 reps to get toned, which is not even a thing, right? So there's so many myths that women subconsciously and consciously are fighting in their brain since for the last 30 years of their life, and they're trying to overcome that as they've gotten them down to a low calorie diet where the
Mhm.
metabolism is slow and there's no room to go because
Yeah.
you're already so low. I notice as long as you're eating whole food, and I'm not talking about keto or carnivore or paleo, I'm just talking all across the board, whole food. The more food you eat, the more energy you're going to have where your body naturally is going to move more. The
Mhm.
less food you eat, the body is going to say, I want to sit on the couch more. So you're going to expend less energy. Now, when you introduce the processed foods that steal energy from the body, you're going to want to eat more and sit more. So that is a whole nother discussion. And that's part of the issue, is that women and the US in general has not realized that our food supply has completely been hijacked, and we are being told that these processed foods are real foods. That's a whole nother podcast. But that does enter the equation of, why do I have no energy and my calories are low?
Mhm.
Right? So we need to get that back up where our body starts trusting ourselves again. Our metabolism says, okay, we can speed up because we're going to get plenty of energy to fuel our body in that